In this Sydney food vlog, we're taking you on a Sri Lankan food tour of Pendle Hill.
Pendle Hill is in Greater Western Sydney, about 29 kilometres west of the Sydney CBD. It's home to a large Indian and Sri Lankan population, and it has an abundance of amazing Sri Lankan restaurants. So if you're looking for some of the best Sri Lankan food in Sydney, this is the place to come. One of my favourite Sri Lankan dishes are egg hoppers. Now we've got a selection of hoppers here. They come from Cinnamon Leaf in Pendle Hill. So that's a great place to get your hoppers because they've got hopper packs. They've got a Friday night hopper all-you-can-eat special for $25, which seems like a pretty good deal. Now, if you're not familiar with hoppers, they are a Sri Lankan dish which is a fermented rice flour that is then fried into a bowl shape, and you can get them sweet, you can get them savoury. They often come with a curry, so you can tear it, scoop it, eat it. It's a beautiful dish. Now we've got egg hoppers, which are hoppers with an egg in the centre. We've got plain hoppers and a sweet milk hopper, which comes with cream and jaggery. They're typically served with a curry, and we've got a fish curry here, and we couldn't go past trying a banana chili curry as well. So we tear a little bit off and then dip it into the curry to scoop it up. And I love how the hoppers are really fluffy, and you can see the texture of it. It's got a lot of air bubbles in there from the fermentation process. Oh yeah. So the hopper has a little bit of crispiness at the edges. In the center, it's really spongy, I guess. So it's a really nice texture. And I just love eating these. With the milk hopper, you do have it on its own because it already comes with toppings. So it comes with a coconut cream, and then it's also got jaggery, which is a really popular condiment in Sri Lanka. It's made of palm sugar. So it's got a lot of sweetness to it. Oh, that's a beautiful combination of flavours. The jaggery is super sweet. It's kind of the same sort of intensity level as, I'd say, a brown sugar. And then the creaminess just kind of combines really nicely with the sugar and really mellows it out. It's a really great way to finish off your hopper extravaganza. So our hopper pack today was $14, $1 extra if you decide to eat it.
We're at Sinthu Sri Lankan and Indian takeaway, and we've got ourselves a breakfast dish. So this is Pittu. It's rice flour and rice mixed in with coconut, a little bit of salt and water, and depending on how it's made, there might be a little bit of cumin in here as well. And so you typically have it with a curry for breakfast. So we've got ourselves a Sri Lankan chicken curry. So this is really interesting. I've never had Pittu before. So it's basically a rice equivalent that you can put in your hand and then just dip in the curry and eat it. So this has a bit of a reddish tinge to it, the Pittu, and that's because it's made out of red rice flour. Now the taste of the Pittu is pretty mild. I'd say there is a little bit of saltiness in there as well, so that gives it a bit of extra flavour than your typical rice. And I also like the touch of coconut spread throughout the dish as well. What I like about it is that it's really handy just to use your hands and then just dip it in for the curry. I think that's really practical. So this chicken curry is really nice. It is a typical Sri Lankan curry that packs a lot of flavour and a lot of punch. I don't think there is a Sri Lankan curry that I've had that is mild. So if you're a lover of spicy food, then Sri Lankan curry is for you. 10 to 10 have a range of Sri Lankan curries on offer, as well as a lot of Sri Lankan snacks like this. So this is a lamb roll. So on the outside it's quite crispy. I assume it's been deep fried. And on the inside there should be some nice lamb that's spiced. I'm going to bite into it and see what's on the inside. So this is like the Sri Lankan version of a chico roll, but tastier. So on the inside, you've got the lamb in there. There's also potato and a range of spices. So I'm sure there's cumin in there, and there's a little bit of heat to it, but pretty mild in the grand scheme of things for a Sri Lankan food. So it's a really great little snack to have on the go, and it was only $2.
I'm just amazed that you can still get food in Sydney for $2. So this is the fish patty. It's got a beautiful fish and potato curry on the inside. Absolutely delicious, and it's all wrapped in a buttery pastry. One of my favourite drinks of all time is the Falooda. So it's a milk-based drink, it's got rose syrup, basil seeds, and sometimes you even have ice cream on top as well. It's a really beautiful dish, and I love that vibrant pink colour. It's so refreshing. So it's been nicely chilled. So the basil seeds are soaked and they have like a little gelatinous texture to them. So it gives it a nice texture as well as the visual element of that rose syrup. It's really sweet, it's really delicious, and this was only $4. If you need a break from all that eating, come to Civic Park in Pendle Hill. It's a beautiful green space with lots of shady areas to sit and relax. They've got great amenities, including barbecue facilities, toilets, and one of the biggest slides in a public park that I have ever seen.
Flavours of Ceylon are a Sri Lankan takeaway, so they've got a whole range of ready-made food that you can take, and they have a range of lunch specials. So we're going to go with the Lamprais for $14. Lamprais is a traditional Sri Lankan dish. It's got Dutch burger origins. This is what it looks like. So what's unique about it is that it's cooked in a banana leaf. So that gives the dish an earthy aroma. It also keeps the ingredients moist, and it also enhances the flavour. So what you typically get in a lamprey is a curry. So we've gone with pork curry here. There's also an eggplant pickle. That's also known as a brinjal moju. You've got rice that's cooked in stock. Here we have, I think these are fried banana. And we've also got cashews. There's also a Dutch-style meatball, also known as a frikadel. And this looks like an egg, just to round out the dish. So I'm going to try the eggplant first. That's nice. There's a little bit of a sweetness to it. It just melts in your mouth. And I was expecting it to be really hot, but there's no heat to it at all. This is the pork curry. Oh, that's very nice. There's a lot of stuff happening there, so the flavour's quite intense. There's a little bit of heat to it, but there's just a lot of spices in there that gives a really intense flavour. And that pork really melts in your mouth. It's really nice. I'll try the frikadel. Okay, this is interesting. If you have a look in here, it's got a mashed potato inside with a range of spices. There's also a fishy taste to it, so I believe there's fish mashed in here as well. And so it gives it quite a salty taste. So that's a different taste once again. If you're after some traditional Sri Lankan food with a whole range of different flavours, check out the lamprey at Flavours of Ceylon.
We're in Marina restaurant in Pendle Hill, and we've got a Vada here. So a Vada is a Sri Lankan snack. It's made with white lentils, and it's a savoury dish. So deep fried, and it looks really delicious. So it's got a really nice savoury crumb on the outside. It's a little bit oily, it's quite light, and then it's fluffy on the inside. A really nice texture, and it's a really delicious snack.
Sydney Marina is a South Indian and Malaysian restaurant in Pendle Hill. So Sydney Marina has been around in Pendle Hill for 10 years. So they've been so successful that they've created two shops. So there's one shop that's only a couple of doors down from the original shop. So we're in their newer store. So this has been around for 6 years. And we've come here to try their dosa. So this is masala dosa. Dosa is fermented rice and lentils made into a crispy thin pancake. There's a potato mixture in here as well. That's called the masala. It's got things like mustard and spices in there as well. And it comes with a range of chutney. This is green chutney, red chutney, and this is sambal. So the green is green chili, and that's red chili. You just use your hands, like so, and then dip it in the chutney and eat. I'll try this. I'm going to rip this open and see whether we've got some masala. There we go. So you can see the potato there, and there's a bunch of other veggies in there as well. I can see some peas, some carrots. So I might grab a bit of that masala, try it with the green. I really like how it's quite crispy, this dosa. The chutneys are really interesting in that they're made out of coconut as well, so there's a coconutty taste to it, and then you get a little bit of heat there too. I think the green one's a little bit more spicy.
Abie's Vegetarian Takeaway is a great place to get vegetarian food in Sydney. They've got a great selection of curries, and they've got a wide selection of Indian and Sri Lankan food. So we've got a very popular South Indian and Sri Lankan dessert. It's a Rava Kesavi. It's semolina based, and it's got ghee, saffron, lots of sugar, nuts, and it looks absolutely delicious and very sweet. So this was $6, and let's just give it a try. I was expecting it to be super sweet, but it's actually reasonably mild. It's got a firm cake-like consistency, and I really like that it's got a mixture of nuts and sultanas in there as well. So the nuts give it a nice little bit of texture as well, and this really is a delicious sweet treat.
Apnaa Addaa is a food truck just outside the Pendle Hill train station. It serves Indian street food. So what we've decided to go with today is the Sev Puri. The puris are wheat-based crisps, and on the inside it's stuffed with a potato masala. And on the top you have the sev, which are really tiny little noodles. It should pack a whole lot of flavour. Oh, yum. On the inside, once you crunch down on the crunchy puri, you're greeted with a really soft inside. There's potato in there. There's also some chutney and some tamarind in there, so it makes it quite tangy. And there's a bit of sweetness in there as well. And to balance off the tanginess, you have some yogurt there. It's a real explosion of flavour and very tasty. It's a perfect little bite-sized snack, and it was only $9. If you're looking for some refreshment, come to Sree Flavours. So we've come here to try their Samovar Tea. Now, it's an Indian restaurant in Pendle Hill. They also have a range of Indian food too. With their tea, you can get the milk tea, which is the Samovar Tea, and you can also get the Suleimani tea, which is without milk. And it comes in a range of various flavours like ginger, mint, masala tea as well. I've got some here. There's a sweetness to it, so I believe they put jaggery inside. Really refreshing, and I do like it with the milk. The tea's really inexpensive as well. So this is the cutting size, so this is only $2. And then most of the other teas are $4 to $4.50.
Kottu roti is a really popular Sri Lankan dish, and we're trying it here at El Roy Kottu Corner. So this was $16, and if you're not familiar with Kottu roti, what it is a chopped roti that is then mixed and stir-fried with vegetables, egg, and we've got some mutton in here as well, and it's served with a curry. So we've chosen a chicken curry. Now, we've been told that you can vary your spice levels. We've just stuck with their standard. So let's give it a try. mix it with the curry there. Yeah, this is really interesting. So I thought that the roti would be quite crispy, but it has more of a chewy texture. And I really like that you can taste the pieces of mutton in there, and then the vegetables give it a bit of a crunchy texture as well, which is really nice. So this is the first time we've had Kottu roti, but it definitely won't be our last.
To get to Pendle Hill, it's about a 40-minute train ride from the city, and there are also bus services.
So John, what did you think of our food tour of Pendle Hill Sydney?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is convenience. So you just walk off at the station at Pendle Hill and all the restaurants are right in front of you. It's only really a small walk away and you've got so many great options to choose from.
I've been really impressed with the variety of Sri Lankan food here as well. It really is a great introduction to Sri Lankan food in Sydney.
Yeah, so we hope you liked our Sri Lankan food tour. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and leave us a comment.
And we've got plenty more food tours like this from various areas around Sydney, as well as travel and food tours from around the world. So if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe.
We are Bucket List Travellers.
See you next time.